We've seen some magical moments over the last few weeks. It is so hard to tear Dustin Johnson, Jon Rahm, and Justin Thomas apart. But if you were to give Justin Thomas an edge this week, his record at Eastlake is really quite impressive. Full seven starts in his last four at Eastlake. Where's his edge this week?
I think it's the scoring and the comfortable with the strange scoring of the players up top there now. He was the only one last year that was in the top five. Rory ended up winning from fifth position, but Cantlay and Reed were in there. Koepka were in there. They're not up near the lead this one. So what DJ and Rahm, it's going to be strange. I've said it before. When you really start looking at the leaderboard, you assess. If you're me, you're assessing Friday late to see if you can make the cut. If you're other people, you maybe look a little Saturday, but you start watching it Sunday to see what you need to do to win the tournament. It's strange to be leaderboard watching on the first shot of the first round of a tournament, and that's what they have to do because they don't want to give up their lead. They're going to be playing for position. They would be better off, actually, honestly, trying to forget it, but trying to do something and being able to do something are different stories.
Well, and that's what is not only unique for the leaders that are trying to maybe protect the position that they're in. I think for everybody else, there's this piece of the puzzle that they don't want to get further behind. And I think for Justin Thomas, the edge is exactly what you said, Anna. His record at this event, very comfortable. He's almost allergic to playing poorly here. So I think to some extent, he hasn't had a lot of bad memories in how he's played this golf course. So that certainly is an edge. And in because of the unique setup of this event, it really does a season culminate with one event and one golf course. So the importance of playing well here is so much more paramount than any other event there is on the PGA Tour. And one or two two or three strokes doesn't seem that much to overcome when you have 4 rounds to do it on a golf course you feel very familiar with.
David, Justin Thomas is in a different position to where he was last year. He was coming on with that 2-shot lead back in 2019. Said he didn't really know how to handle it. It was something that he'd never experienced before, something that no one on the tour had ever experienced. This time, he's 3 shots back. Does that give him a bit of freedom to kind of get aggressive?
I think it does. He has the perspective of 2019. He also has the perspective of 2017. When he won the FedEx Cup title. He also has a skill set right now that is among the best, if not the best in the game when you look at the stats. He's first in strokes gained tee to green. He's first in strokes gained approach this season. So over the course of this year, no one has hit the ball better than Justin Thomas. And we're talking about margins compared to himself and DJ or he and Jon Rahm. But when you're talking about a 4-round tournament where he's going to be trailing by 3, where he has comfort on the golf course, great memories on the golf course, the knowledge that last year maybe didn't approach it the right way, not to mention his stats. Justin Thomas, I think, is right where he needs to be. Doesn't worry about the discomfort or the not being used to holding a 2-shot lead, which is where Dustin Johnson's going to sit this week.
Yeah, Paige, looking at JT's recent form, obviously a terrific win in Memphis, but since then hasn't finished inside the top 20 in his last 3 starts. Any cause for concern for you this week with JT?
I'm not concerned with his form. I think it's just a matter of getting the timing right week in and week out. I think maybe the bigger picture concern for Justin Thomas kind of relates to what Damon said last year, holding a 2-shot lead, not able to kind of finish out or perform the way he wanted. But you've seen a couple moments throughout his career like that, whether it was the Tournament of Champions that he nearly let slip away, ultimately got it in a playoff. Riviera, where he had a nice lead, let that slip away. And then even so recently as Workday, where we saw just a really flat-footed start when he's in position as a front runner. And I think from that perspective, we have seen a little hit or miss with Justin Thomas as a front runner. But in this chasing position, I'm much less concerned for Justin Thomas trying to stay aggressive and be able to capitalize on that on this golf course.
One thing you never want, Robert, is JT chasing you down because we know just how low he can go. We know how aggressive he can get out there. In terms of firepower, how much of that is a strength of his this week?
Yeah, that's the way he would feel at the buffet line if I was coming in behind him. About to get overwhelmed. He's got no chance, really. But as far as firepower, there's no one with more firepower. There's no one that is capable of coming from behind as much. Not to say there are other players that can't do it, but he is the ultimate. And I'll tell you why. He's broken 60. He's got the all-time scoring record for 72 holes. He's shot 9 under in a U.S. Open. No one's ever done that. And with my own 2 eyes last year on course, I watched almost all of his dismantling of Medina, 25 under, including a 61. If you want to talk going low, this is your guy.
That's it. 59, 61, this 63 3 years ago in the U.S. Open. There's something about a player that's not afraid to go low. And Paige and Robert, you guys can even speak to this. Some players just aren't comfortable making 10, 11 birdies, even at the highest level of the game. Paige, am I crazy or am I correct?
Because you're just describing me and a lot of other players that just really didn't feel comfortable going super low, didn't have that ability to kind of go unconscious. You know, I had a couple birdies in a row, and you just start playing defensively a little bit. Justin Thomas has this incredible ability to kind of get into that zone, whatever that zone is, and be able to continue to perform. It's a skill, it's a talent, it is something that not everybody else has that plays this game for a living. And for that reason, I think he's so uniquely different than a lot of other PGA Tour professionals.
Well, let's face it, Tiger Woods doesn't really, isn't known for going that low. He goes low for 4 straight rounds and it adds up to low scores. But the reason that he's really lacking in the come from behind wins as opposed to leading wins is because he plays smart. He doesn't go at pins. He doesn't go crazy. It's not that he's not capable of shooting lower scores if he were more aggressive, but obviously the way he plays is quite successful, but never been a guy that really scared you about coming from way behind and throwing a 60 or 61 at you.
One thing Justin Thomas doesn't lack is his want for the spotlight. He wants to be the #1 player. He wants to be the FedEx Cup champion. He wants it all, and he wants to be recognized as the best player out there in the game. If he adds a second FedEx Cup title to his resume, only then joining Rory McIlroy and Tiger Woods, where does that put him in the position of the game for you?
I tell you what, it puts him at or right near the top. And right now there's a lot of fluctuation on who's the best player in the world. We seem to have this question every week. You know, if DJ wins, who's the best at the height of his powers? Does Jon Rahm wins? Well, he's the best at the height of his power. Justin Thomas wins? Well, he's the best at the height of his power. They're all kind of in the same bubble, in the same box, at the top of the game right now. They're very thin margins. But Justin Thomas, he tells us that he's hungry. He plays like he's hungry, and he wins like he's hungry. He's got 3 wins this season, and he's just never satisfied. So if he were to add a second FedEx Cup, it would tell us that he belongs in the conversation as among the best players in this game, and he would tie Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy as the only players to have 2 FedEx Cups. To be quite a feather in the cap.
The margins are so fine between those top 3 players. It makes for such good golf, and it makes for drama, and we're so looking forward to it